clauses. At the end of this lesson, you will be able to define a sentence and a clause. Identify a clause in a given sentence.
Cows graze in goose. Cows gaze. Hi, Fleck. What are you doing? Oh, tongue twisters. Let me try. Cows graze in groves on grass which grows in grooves. Let me try again. Cows graze in hooves on groves. This is so complicated. All these sentences and phrases in one line. It's not difficult, Fleck. And actually, this sentence has not only phrases but also clauses. Clauses? What are clauses?
Let's look at the tongue twister Fleck was trying to say. Cows graze in groves on grass which grows in grooves. The tongue twister is a sentence. A sentence is a group of words that contains a subject and predicate and makes complete sense by itself. In a sentence, the subject refers to what or whom we are talking about in the sentence. The predicate tells us more about the subject. The predicate contains the verb. A sentence must contain a subject and a verb. However, this sentence is made up of two different groups of words. Let's take a look at them. The first group is cows graze in groves on grass. This group has a subject, cows. It also has a predicate, graze in groves on grass, which describes the subject cows. Now, let's look at the second group. The second group is which grows in grooves. This group also has a subject, which, and a predicate, grows in grooves, which describes the subject, which. The word which here qualifies the noun grass. Both these groups have a subject and predicate each, but are parts of a larger sentence. Such groups of words are called clauses. Thus, a clause is a group of words that contains a subject and a predicate and forms part of a sentence. A sentence may have one or more than one clause. Now that we have seen what clauses are, let's see how to identify them in sentences. Let us take an example. Sarah will play when her homework is done. Can you spot the clauses in this sentence? The first clause is Sarah will play. In this part, the subject is Sarah. The predicate is made up of the verb will play. The second clause in the sentence is when her homework is done. In this sentence, her homework is the subject and is done is the predicate. The word when acts as a conjunction which joins the two clauses. In this sentence, the second clause acts as an adverb that qualifies the verb will play in the first clause. Therefore, the second clause is an adverb clause. Thus, an adverb clause is a clause that does the work of an adverb in a sentence. Let's look at another example. In this example, the two clauses are Tommy carried a bag and that was too heavy for him. Here, the second clause qualifies or describes the noun bag in the first clause. Therefore, the second clause is an adjective clause. Hence, an adjective clause is a clause that does the work of an adjective in a sentence. Here is another example. Katie thinks she is very pretty. In this sentence, there are two clauses. The first clause, Katie thinks, contains a subject and a verb and makes complete sense. The second clause, that she is very pretty, does not make complete sense. However, it has a subject and a predicate. She is the subject and is very pretty is the predicate. If we ask the question, what does Katie think? We get the answer as that she is very pretty. So this clause is the object of the verb thinks. Therefore, it is a noun clause. So, we can say that a noun clause is a clause that does the work of a noun in a sentence. So now, we have seen that a clause is a group of words that forms part of a sentence. A phrase and a clause can form part of a sentence. A clause sometimes makes complete sense by itself. However, a phrase does not make complete sense by itself because it has no subject and predicate and always depends on other words to form a sentence. Let's understand this better with examples. I like the cake with cherries. I like the cake which has cherries on it. In the first sentence, with cherries is a phrase since it does not have a subject and predicate and does not make complete sense by itself. In the second sentence, which has cherries on it, is a clause since it has both a subject and a predicate and forms part of a bigger sentence. Hence, a clause is a group of words that is different from a phrase.
Good going, Fleck! You finally got it! Thanks, Cece. Let's say it again, please.
Okay. 1, 2, 3. How much wood would a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood?
He would as much as he could and chuck as much wood as a woodchuck would.
If a woodchuck could chuck wood.
Tongue twisters are so much fun. So let's quickly revise what we learned today in the lesson on clauses. A sentence is a group of words that has a subject and a predicate and makes complete sense by itself. A sentence must contain a subject and a verb. A clause is a group of words that has a subject and a predicate and is a part of a sentence. A sentence can have one or more than one clause. There are 3 types of clauses. An adverb clause is a clause that does the work of an adverb in a sentence. An adjective clause is a clause that does the work of an adjective in a sentence. A noun clause is a clause that does the work of a noun in a sentence. A clause sometimes makes sense by itself. However, a phrase does not have a subject and predicate and does not make sense by itself.